Great question here. How do crows know when to migrate? And how do they find the same area every year? Hey guys, it's Dennis here. And it's time for another bird video. Actually, Peach's Corner. Brought to you by Pearface. Pearface actually requested, could I do a Peach's Corner video? She hasn't heard one in a while and likes to hear the questions people ask. So that's a great question to start out. Oh, why do flies buzz around me when I'm in here? That's a good question. But that's a great question to start it out from one of our longtime subscribers, Mark Crane. We'll answer that a little later on. But let's get to these other ones first, because don't you want to hear all the questions and answers? So let's get right into it. I might have to go outside and finish the video. The flies seem to be pretty heavy today. Some days they're not as bad as others, but so we're not going to do it in Peach's Corner. There's Peach's Corner. There's the pup's corner. I don't think he's going to go over there. He seems to be hanging out over here more. And there he is. There's Peach. Little Peach. So let's get to a question from Pearface. Do the magpies ever groom each other? There's Spice. And there's Pie. No, we've never seen that, Pearface. We've never seen that kind of behavior. Sometimes when Kulika's putting them in at night, she hears one of them saying some sweet little, like a welcoming sound to come in the cage, let's go in the house. Like a nice sweet chirping, like inviting the other magpie in, but we've never seen any kind of grooming. Here's a question from Emily Bush. Is Peach molting, or is his feathers turning gray like my dog's muzzle? Actually, Peach is molting. We've never seen there's a lot of flies. We've never seen feathers turning gray or anything. I don't know if that happens. So, no, he's not turning gray. This is a question from an older video from Sec2697, and they're saying it's from cats. Like, remember the video with Maple, like pet crow growing up, and then we show that back alley and everything, and we ask, you know, wonder what's happened here, and we think that there's been something sinister going on, and some people think it's cats. Well, we don't think it's cats. Like, a lot of people say it's cats. Like, come on, don't you know that? Like, cats are destroying birds all the time. But you know, we go down a lot of back alleys, and our back alley, I've never seen that. We've never seen that kind of like dead birds like that in one corner. Like, you might see one bird here and there occasionally, but you don't usually see a scene like that. So we think something happened there. And actually, a conservation officer visited that alley. That's a few years ago already. They went to take a look, and they said it looked a little suspicious, but they couldn't determine anything, so they didn't pursue any farther because you need a little more evidence, they said. But they didn't believe that it was cats either, but they couldn't say what it is for sure. So we don't think it's cats. Another one from Pearface. Since Pearface requested this video, do the birds ever make any noises during the night, like the middle of the night? Actually, no, they don't. We've never heard anything going on when it's dark out, and we put a cover over the cages too, but we never hear anything. Sometimes early in the morning, like the sun is just about ready to come up, sometimes you hear some action going on, and then other mornings you don't hear till later, but never in the middle of the night, Pearface. I went back on the channel looking at some older comments and questions because I wanted to find some for this video, because I didn't get to give you guys any warning to say send your questions in. Now you can send questions in. After you watch this video, maybe send some questions in and I'll do another one. But Pearface made the request, and I only have a few, so I had to dig back, look back. XTS Reaper, that's a 4-year-old comment or question. How do you tell if they're male or female? Well, it's pretty hard. Some people say they can tell by the size and stuff, but they'd have to be exactly right together. And we've had guessed the birds' gender contests, and most people were wrong when they guessed. So even I was wrong. Like, I thought Spice was a female, because Spice is a little slightly smaller than Pie. I said I'm going to say Spice is a female, and Spice is a male. So the only real way you can tell is by a DNA test they do. And then they know the species and the gender. Another pretty good question here. Why doesn't Peach fly? Did you clip her wings? First of all, Peach isn't a her, it's a he. And we found that out by DNA test. No, we've never clipped any bird's wings. I know some people might think that because how did we have them outside and stuff like this and they didn't fly away? Because they had some damage to them or they were developing them, and when they're molting like that, sometimes they can't fly very well. And in Maple's, the story of Maple, she couldn't do nothing for over a year because the tail was damaged so much when we rescued her. It took over a year for that to grow in properly. And still to this day we notice she still has trouble flying. So Maple had some troubles right from when she was a little baby. There's Peach. See, Peach is gray around the neck a bit yet. His head is really nice now. But that's just because you can see he's thin feathered there. And underneath, if they have no feathers, they're like skinned chicken, right? They'd be white or pink or whatever. But no, we've never clipped his wing. Look at the wings there. Look at the tail. He's very capable of flight. But he's imprinted on us, and we're just not going to open the door and say go now, because that would be cruel to let an imprinted bird go now. Another one from Pearface. Does Cherry ever need his droopy wing trimmed a bit? Yes, he does. From time to time when it's hanging too low and it's getting dirty, then Kulika trims it a bit. But that's the only reason why any bird's wings would get trimmed, and especially his, it really hangs down sometimes. So sometimes you have to trim it so it stays clean. So now let's get to that cool question. Actually, that question is an older one from Mark Crane. I missed it. Sorry, Mark. He's asking, how do crows know when to migrate, and how do they find the same spot every year? I don't know. I'm not a scientist. No, I don't really know. Does anyone really know for sure? I mean, maybe there are scientists that if you look it up, you'll see things like they go by the stars, they go by the angle of the sun, maybe they have a magnetic beak, you know. I mean, just think about all that though. Let's think about that for a minute. I don't want to think too long with the flies, but anyways, if they map the sky, they're looking at the stars. You imagine, let's say I was lost in the bush and I'm like this. Yeah, there's the Big Dipper and there's the North Star. Would I be able to find my house? I don't think I'm that smart to know that. Like, I don't have a photographic memory that I'll just look at the sky and, oh, that's where I am. But maybe the bird does have that. Like, they map it. They know. And the angle of the sun makes sense, because the days are longer. When they start to get longer, like, you know yourself, right? Like in the winter, they're so dark. It's already 5 o'clock, getting dark already. What's going on? Well, it's winter, that's why. But in the summer, like up here, it's not getting dark till 10 o'clock. So, yeah, that's pretty obvious, right? You know the day is getting longer, it's time to go. And some might say, oh, the weather, it's getting warmer. But some of these places are warm for a while already. It doesn't mean it's warm up here. And they get up here and sometimes it's really cool and cold and even snowing. They don't pack their bags and head south again. So, you know, it has to do probably with the position of the sun. That's when they know when maybe it's time to start thinking of leaving again, like going. And then the stars, well, like crows usually sleep at night. They're not flying at night, but if they're in a tree, right, they're mapping, right? Maybe that's when they're doing their mapping. They see the star positions, so they know maybe where they are. And then I think the biggest thing is the magnetic thing. They probably have a built-in compass, like really elaborate though. It's not like if I had a little compass in my hand, will I find exactly where I was? No, maybe, but I'd be walking. They're flying, but they must have a really good compass in that brain of theirs. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments below. That's a pretty intriguing question from Mark Crane. It's an older question. Sorry, Mark. Sometimes I do miss things. I go back and I see lots that I missed, and people probably think, he don't give a damn, he thinks he's too good, or it has nothing to do with that. Just miss it or get busy. But that's a really good question. What do you guys think? We don't need any scientific answers. Let's just have some fun here. What would you think? How do these crows Like I've heard they go back over, when they overwinter, they might not exactly go to the same spot. But when they come back, they'll come back to this same area here if this is where they came from. And they'll do their nest somewhere here. So yeah, leave a comment about what do you guys think? And magpies, they don't migrate. If they're here, they stay here year round. Right, Pi? I did a little talking video. Check that out if you didn't see it. I'll put links below to some videos. You guys check that out. But he talks. he mimics human speech. So guys, I'm going to end the video here. So thanks for the great questions, and thanks for requesting it, Pearface. So this video is because of Pearface requested. She hasn't seen one for a while, and she said she enjoys listening to the other subscribers' questions. So leave your questions below, and leave your ideas of what you think of why do birds, how do they know when to migrate, especially crows. And how do they find the same spot every year? Like, how do they do that? What do you think? So give a big thumbs up to this video if you enjoyed it, and I'll try to do more like this in the near future. See you next time.